We'll get to that a little bit later on in the show, but you know where we're going to start. The same place we've started the last 2 days, this Detroit Tigers team. They end up getting swept by the Guardians. The odds to win the division are down to 91%, which seems high, but man, these last 3 games have been pretty tough, to say the least. And I think yesterday was the worst start. Yesterday was the worst Tigers game of the entire season. It was the worst loss that this team has had all year. First of all, they completely wasted a Tarek Skubal start. I know the Tigers have struggled versus the Guardians. Tarek Skubal has not. He's actually thrived against them. 32 Ks, .41 ERA. Only 1 run allowed in 22 innings pitched against this Guardians team this year in 3 different starts, with a .6 whip. He has demolished this Guardians team. And despite him not having his best start to the start yesterday, he finds a way to get himself back in it. He has a 7-pitch inning late into it. He ends up getting 9 Ks, hits our lock of the day, thank you very much, and just, again, puts together a really dominant start against this Guardians team, only for Troy Melton to come in and give up a home run, 2-run shot to J-Ram in the 7th, and just like that, it's like, yep, they're not winning today. They're going to get swept. Somehow the Tigers, despite him being so dominant against the Guardians, Tarek Skubal, he only had picked up a win in 1 of those 3 starts. Well, the Tigers went 2-1 in those starts, but he only got to pick up 1 win. Like I said, Troy Melton comes in and just home run immediately to J-Ram. 2-run shot. J-Ram is hitting .333 against the Tigers this season with 2 home runs. He's been a killer, along with Stephen Kwan, in a lot of different ways. But, man, J-Ram up at the plate, it feels like it's mission impossible to get him and Kwan out in the same inning. They've just been dominant against this Tigers team. That's one of the reasons it was the worst game of the year for the Tigers. The other reason would be, all right, we've got, 11 days until October, postseason right around the corner. Colt Keith, after getting a nice RBI hit, putting the Tigers on the board, in between the half innings, runs back, holding his lower back, goes right to the clubhouse, never to be seen again. AJ Hinch says the lower back injury is, quote, very concerning. So the Tigers are potentially losing Colt Keith. In my brain, which automatically thinks, what's the worst case scenario? We don't know this for sure, but just based on the AJ Hinch tone of this, I'm going to guess Colt Keith is done. I'm gonna assume Colt Keith is done for the year, and I hope I'm wrong. Again, I'm not a reporter. I'm not telling you he is done. I'm just saying I'm working under that assumption. So what does that mean? Trey Sweeney comes into the game. He goes to third. Zach McKinstry ends up at shortstop. And suddenly, vice versa. Sweeney comes into the game. He ends up at shortstop. Zach McKinstry moves to third base. And now all of a sudden, we're looking at a reality. If Colt Keith isn't playing, where either Sweeney or Javier Baez is going to be in the lineup every day. Want to go over some of their numbers since post-All-Star break? Sweeney is hitting .138 with a .395 OPS in 33 games. Yeah, your eyes just bugged out of your head, Kyle.
I wish I had a gross sounder or a that's nasty.
.395 OPS for Trey Sweeney since the All-Star break. Javier, not all that much better. 210 average, 517 OPS. That's in the 40 games. So if Colt Keith is actually done for the season, one of those 2 guys is going to be playing in the lineup every single day. Not that Colt Keith has been this absolute killer as of late. He's been fine, but it's still a way downgrade from the 244 average that Colt Keith brought to the table and the 690 OPS. Suddenly, you're looking at a glaring hole on that side of the diamond, whether it's Sweeney or Javier. Somehow Javier was an all-star earlier this season. On top of both of those things, you waste a Skubal start, you potentially lose Colt Keith for the season. The other reason it's the worst loss of the season is because you got swept by your rivals. You got swept by the one team across Major League Baseball that you actually have a rivalry with, the Cleveland Guardians, that have just now had the Tigers' number this season. They're 4-6. The Tigers are 4-6 against Cleveland. They've got 3 more games against them next week. And you're going into those games like, oh my God, I know the odds suggest the Tigers still have this division pretty much wrapped up, but I don't feel that way whatsoever. I'm watching this team and they can't hit the baseball right now. I'm watching this team and outside of Tarek Skubal, it feels like they're almost hopeless out on the mound. And that's with Mize and Flaherty having good starts this week. They still managed to lose those games. They still managed to lose the Tarek Skubal start in which he was dominant. Again, the odds to win the division, Fangraphs, 91%. But the lead in the division is 3.5 with 9 to go. You play Cleveland another 3 times. They are starting a 4-game series today against the Twins, who are 9-21 in their last 30 games. They suck. The Tigers are starting a series with the Braves, who are 15-15 in their past 30 games. They don't suck, but they've got some good players. And let's be quite frank, they're playing better than the Tigers right now.
1-5 straight.
1-5 straight. There it is. Green's got a sub-200 average in September. Glaber's got a sub-200 average in September. Torkelson, of the 3 best bats, the only guy that's alive right now. I'm very worried about this Tigers team. I don't know how you can't be. I think they're still going to hold on to win this division, but at this point, I can't say it confidently. I can't sit here, slam my fist, and say, don't worry, because I'm worried. And if I told you not to worry, I'd be being a self-hypocrite. This is panic time for the Detroit Tigers. They keep on telling us we feel no pressure. AJ Hinch continues to tell us this team is just here to play baseball every day. Riley Green says the same thing. Why are they not winning then? If they don't feel any pressure, then what is it? Because the last 2 weeks, this team has been very, very below average. And now we're sitting at 2 weeks left in the season, and they have just a 3.5 game lead in this division, with Cleveland sprinting to the finish line. Meanwhile, the Tigers, they rolled their ankle a month ago and have hobbled to the finish line. It's a tortoise and the hare thing. The Tigers got out to this scorching hot start. They sprint the whole thing. Then they took a big fat nap after the All-Star break. They started to let the Guardians catch up. And now because they ran so fast at the beginning, they're almost out of fumes. They're limping to the finish line. And Cleveland is sprinting, almost ready to catch up. Do the Tigers have what it takes to fight them off next week? Do the Tigers have what it takes to get out of their own way and take care of business this weekend against Atlanta? I wish I could sit here and say, yup, super confident. But here's the problem. You have Charlie Morton going tonight, Kiter Montero going tomorrow, and then Casey Mize going on Sunday. I don't feel good about Morton or Montero. I feel all right about Casey. He's put together 3 nice starts. You can make the argument he's figured it out. You can make the argument he's due for a bad start. All I know is the Tigers do end up scoring some runs while Casey Mize is out on the mound. I mean, he's like number 1 across the league, definitely on the Tigers in terms of run support. Tarek Skubal, by the way, ranks 47th amongst qualified pitchers for run support. They don't hit the baseball when he's out there. I don't know how anyone is not frustrated with this Tigers team right now. And it's a Friday. It's a football Friday. I don't want to send everyone into the weekend in a terrible mood. That's not at all the point of this show. We're going to have some fun. We're going to laugh, hopefully. We'll take care of that part. But man, the Tigers the last 3 days, it's like, all right, must win. Like, you got a chance, sweep the Guardians, and you win the AL Central for the first time in a decade. All right, we don't win on Tuesday. Just figure it out on Wednesday. We can still win the series. Oh, at least Tarek Skubal's on the mound today. We can at least not get swept. Nope, swept by your arch rival in a series in which you don't need. You're not as desperate as Cleveland is, because if Cleveland were to get swept there, like, their season's done. Cleveland's the more desperate team, and it looks like it. You can't fake desperation. And certainly you saw that play out this week. The Guardians looked like a team that wanted it. The Tigers looked like a team that felt like they already had it. And that is why you saw them get swept this weekend. They need to turn things around. You can make the argument, and I will make the argument, that this team has kind of, gotten comfortable with that lead in the AL Central. This is something we feared 2 months ago when they had a 13-game lead. Are they going to get too comfortable at the top? The answer is yes. Their lead is down to 3.5 games. if they want to turn that switch on and off and play that game of, we got a comfortable lead, like once the postseason rolls around, we'll turn the switch back on. It's time to turn it on now, Detroit Tigers. It's time to turn it on now. Don't wait until October. Don't wait until you've blown the lead in the division. Oh, it'd be an all-time collapse after you had an all-time comeback last season. Don't do the inverse of it. It'd be one of the worst blown division leads in the history of Major League Baseball. 1 year after you stole a division. Stole it. Don't let that happen to you. Are you losing faith in this Detroit Tigers team? Are you panicking? Let us know. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show right here live on 100.9 The Mitt. Again, I hope everyone's having a good start to their Friday. I'm not trying to send everyone into panic mode. I'm just telling you where I'm at. I'm worried about this Tigers team. I'm starting to panic a little bit. Are they still minus 1,100 to win the AL Central on the good old generic sports book? Yeah, they are, but man, something about this just isn't sitting right with me right now, that they just got swept by Cleveland. They can't win a game with Tarek Skubal on the mound. Colt Keith is now down. They've got their worst two starting pitchers going today and tomorrow. What happens if they roll into Monday's game against Cleveland or Tuesday's game against Cleveland and the division leads down to 2.5, 1.5? Then you got a 3-game series with Cleveland and you're staring at potentially you're 3 games away from not having a lead in the AL Central with 1 series to go. I'm worried. Where are you guys at with this team? 989-837